everyone. My name is Priyanka Goswami, Assistant Professor from GL Bajaj Institute of Management and Research, Greater Noida. In Lecture 3, today I am going to discuss Managerial Roles and Skills, which is from the Unit 3, Management Concepts and Organization Behavior. Today we are going to cover these topics. Number 1 is what does managers do, what roles managers need to perform, and essential management skills. Today we are going to discuss managerial roles and skills. So before going for the managerial roles, first of all we should know that what manager does in the organization. Number 1 is manager's work is very profound and demanding. If we talk about manager function, it is very profound in nature, it is very intense in nature, right? And at the same time it is also demanding. That means in every step in the operation which is performed in the organization, we need manager, we need to manage the things. So for that's why we call it that manager work is very profound. That means it is very intense. We need in every step of the operation in the organization. Second one is the manager sets goals for the group and decides what work needs to be done to meet those goals. Second function is manager first initial function is to plan things, right? So manager set the goals for the group. At the same time he also decides in advance that what he has to do, what employees has to do in the future, in our upcoming days. So this is also, we call it that yes, it is one of the function, it is one of the function of manager. Third one is manager perform informational, interpersonal and decisional roles. If we take an example, if we talk about managerial roles in as per Mintzberg, so these are the 3 roles we talk about, that we will talk later also, but we can also read it as a function of managers, right? So number 1 is informational, so number 2 is interpersonal, and the number 3 is decisional. Let's read it in a brief manner, then we will discuss in a deep manner. So informational means that manager has to, he has to perform an informational role in the organization by transmitting the information from top level management to the lower level management. So in this way we can say that he has to perform this informational duty. Second one is interpersonal. Interpersonal means he should know that how to communicate, how to motivate people, how to encourage people for that, and how to build up the image in the eyes of stakeholders of the organization. So for that he must know, he has to perform this interpersonal role as well. Third one is decisional role. Decisional role means that which duty will be performed by which person. This also a duty of manager, where he has to decide that who will do which work, right, and which from where they have to procure the raw material, from where they have to purchase the machines, and so on. So decisional role is also one of the duty which manager has to perform. Next one is every manager encourage support his employees. Yes, like if we talk about just to execute the work, just to execute the planning, manager must know that how to encourage people and how to support people to get the work done in a smoothened manner. So for that, this is also one of the duty or one of the function of manager, where he supports, he encourages their employees to get the work done in an efficient and effective way. Manager use variety of technical, human and conceptual skills. Yes, while performing his duty, he has to perform these 3 skills, which is called technical skills, human skills and conceptual skills. Technical skills means when he knows that where he has a knowledge of raw material, machines, that means he should know the technicality of the operations. So for those skills we call it technical skills. And if we talk about human skills, where he should know and he must know that how to encourage people, how to motivate people, how to influence people to get the work done. So for that, this human skills is important. And if we talk about this conceptual skills, this skills is basically used to perform this decisional roles. That means to decide the things in the organization, he must have this conceptual skills. Conceptual skills means where he must have an ability to analyze the things so that he can sort out the problem which is occurring in the organization on day-to-day basis. Last one is managers learn from the experiences. Yes, a manager call a good manager when he knows that how to learn from the experiences. So learning from the experience is also one of the function, or we can say it's a duty, it's a moral duty of him, that he should know, he should learn things from his experience. Then only he can decrease his mistakes in the future, and he can overcome his mistakes and run the organization or manage the things in the organization in a better way. What does managers do? Yes, with this diagram we can understand, or we can read managers function in a broad basis. Basically with these functions we can that means his function is divided into these major heads, that is planning, organizing, leading and controlling, right. So planning is what? These also a function which is performed by the manager in the organization. So number one is planning. Planning, you know that planning means where we decide the thing in advance, that which work, what work needs to be done in the future, who will do which work, right. So these by whom it will be performed. So these are the planning, these are the setting goals. Even setting goal is also a part of planning. So these are the thing is also a part of manager. That means a function of manager which he has to do in the organization. Second one is organizing. Organizing means where he has to arrange the task, he has to arrange the raw materials, machines and combined together the things so that he can basically available the things, he can organize the things, he can bring things together in such a way so that he can execute it in a better way. Next one is leading. Leading means where he has to inspire people, he has to motivate people or encourage people to perform, to get the work done in a better way. So we can say leading is also one of the function of manager. And the last one is controlling. Controlling is what? It is a process where we cross-check the things, where we cross-check the work done by the employees, where we evaluate the performance of the employees so that we can analyze that whatever we have planned in the beginning, in the controlling process, basically we cross-check that whatever they have done, are they doing the way we have planned, or they are going some other way. So by controlling, we cross check the things, we monitor the performance of the employees so that we can correct in a better way and make the performance more effective and efficient. Mintzberg managerial roles. In this lecture we are going to discuss this managerial roles, and which is given by the Mintzberg. Mintzberg. Who is Mintzberg? Mintzberg is he's an internationally renowned business management author, professor of management studies at McGill University in Montreal, Canada, and contributed many ideas to management theory. So he is a very famous author who is a professor of business management studies in McGill University in Montreal, right. Now we will discuss principles which is given by the Mintzberg. There are not principles, basically managerial roles. So managerial roles, he divided managerial roles into the three heads. These are the three heads: interpersonal roles, informational roles and decisional roles. And these roles again further divided into various parts. So we can say that in total there are 10 set of roles which is given by Mintzberg. So we will discuss one by one. Let's start with the figurehead. Figurehead means that in this role, manager has to perform duties which is ceremonial in nature. Figurehead is what? Where he has to perform duties which is ceremonial in nature, like greeting with the dignitaries, or taking important clients for the lunch, or we can say going for the wedding of any employee. So that means he while performing this role, in this role he has to represent the organization, so that he has to represent the organization while meeting with the people, right. So that kind of role is known as figurehead. Second one is leader. Leader is a role. In this role, he has to influence the people, he has to influence the employees of the organization and encourage the employees of the organization so that the work can be performed without obstacles. Third one is liaison. liaison is a role. In this role, manager basically needs to make build up a good relationship with the stakeholder. So in this role, he has to perform in such a way that so that he can build up a good relationship with the stakeholders. Stakeholders can be his customers, or his suppliers, or his business partners, or the organization's business partners, or we can say even the government. So liaison is a role where he deal with the people, or he makes a good relationship with the people by regularly meeting with them, or with regularly, if we can say, even we can say that occasionally if he is sending some greetings to the greeting cards or some wishes to the important clients, that means he's trying to make a good relationship with his customers, right? So liaison is a duty, is one of the function where he's doing in a regular basis, by meeting up with their clients, by meeting up with their suppliers, he's performing this liaison duty, right? So that he can create a feeling of association with the stakeholders. Next role, if we talk about, is informational. Informational is also further divided into three parts: monitor, disseminator, and spokesperson. Monitor is what? Where he has to monitor the things by controlling. Like we have read that controlling is one of the function of manager, where he cross-check the things, where he monitor the things, right? The same way in Mintzberg also given this monitor function under the head of informational role, where he said that in this role, manager has to monitor the work which is performed by the employees on a regular basis. So monitoring is also one of the role which manager has to perform while performing his duty in the organization. Next one is disseminator. Disseminator means, in this role, manager has to spread the information to the employees. Basically, in this role, while performing this role, if any kind of policies are have made by the top level managers, so introducing those policies to the employees, manager work as a middleman between the top level and lower level, right? So disseminator means, that means if manager is going to introduce the new policies which have been made by the top level management in the organization, so at that moment he is performing this disseminator roles, right? So disseminator means where he is spreading the information which is very useful for the employees to perform their work in a better way. So disseminator means spread the information in the organization by the manager, is a disseminator role. Last one is spokesperson. Spokesperson means this kind of role is also performed by the manager, where he tried to build up a good image, a social impact of his organization before the government, before the stakeholders, we can say. Again, I have already told you that stakeholders are the people who are directly or indirectly related with the organization. So government, like customers, suppliers, partners. So these are the stakeholders. So if he's meeting with the people and he's talking in such a way that it makes a good impact of his organization in front of those stakeholders, so at that moment, what kind of roles he's performing? He's performing this spokesperson role. Next head is decisional role. Decisional role again involve these four roles. Number one is entrepreneur. Entrepreneur role is what? Where he decides the thing instead of just following the guidelines which is given by the top level manager. If he introduce new innovation in the organization, innovation means creating new ideas in the organization. So that means he is performing this entrepreneur role. So he has to perform proactively in the organization by creating or by introducing new ideas to get the work done, or to make some strategic planning. So that means in that moment what he is doing, he is performing this entrepreneur roles. Next one is disturbance handler. That means suppose if there is some crisis, if there is some crisis in the organization in a form of strike or in a form of some productivity fall down, so that's a problem for the organization, right? So if in that moment, if manager is going and handling the things like strike, if there is a strike and he's going in front of trade unions and talking with him and convincing him to get back to their work. So that means at that moment what he's doing, he's handling the disturbance which arise in the organization, right? At the same time, if productivity falls down, so at that moment also if he's creating some solution or finding out some solution of the problem, so at that moment what he's doing, he's handling the disturbance. So that's a disturbance handler role, which also should perform by the manager. Next one is resource allocator. Resource allocator means where in this role manager divides the resources and we can say the division of work, right? So division of work or division of resources among the employees so that they can work accordingly, they can work in a better manner, right? So resource allocator means where he decides that who will get which kind of job with what kind of machines and equipments and with what kind of resource raw materials. So that's role is known as resource allocator. And the last one is negotiator. That means while purchasing, negotiator is a role in which manager negotiate or bargain with their stakeholders only. Like suppose if a manager is going to buy raw material, is going to buy raw material for the organization or for the production, and if he's there negotiating the price amount, so at that moment what he's doing, he's performing this negotiator role, and that's a part of decision. Obviously these four are the part of decisional role. So negotiator means where he bargains on some particular cost of that particular product. At the same time, if I take one more example, like suppose if trade union laborers are on strike, right? So again, while convincing them to get them back in their operations, if they are negotiating with the issues like just come back to your job and all, we will see that. So at that moment what they are doing, they are negotiating, they are bargaining, they are on that particular issue, so that he is able to convince convince those employees and make them or call them back in their operations. So what they're doing at that moment also, ultimately they are what manager is doing there, he is negotiating with the employees also, with the laborers also who are on strike on some issues. So he is negotiating. So that's role is negotiator. Management skills. Roles are completed. Now we are reading this management skills. What is skill? If I talk about skill, a skill is an individual's ability to perform physical or mental task with a specified outcome. So skill is what? It is a individual ability to perform a physical or mental task. That means skills, we have read that there are three kinds of skills, right? So these skill is what? It is an ability to perform certain task. It can be a mental skill, it can be a physical skill. That means if a person knows how to operate this particular machine, that is also known as a skill. If a person knows that how to take decision, so that is also a skill or ability. So skills can be a mental or physical. It's basically to know that how to do this work. So that ability is known as skill. Skill is not necessarily inborn. Obviously, we cannot say that skill comes by birth. No. It can be learned by the experience, as a manager does in the organization. By the experience only he can learn the things. So it is not necessarily inborn. Third one is it can be developed through practice and through translating one's knowledge and experience into the action. That means it can be developed. These skills can be developed by practice or by translating one's knowledge and experience into the action. That means he can learn these skills by the practice. That means on a regular basis, if he is practically doing some particular task, that means he is imbibing those skills into him. So that way also he can develop these skills. At the same time, he can translate one's knowledge. That means if he has some knowledge and if he is translating those knowledge into a practical way, that way also he can imbibe those skills into him. So that's skills. In order to be able to successfully perform his roles, a manager should possess some managerial skills. And here he's talking, they are talking about the importance of managerial skills. That means if manager has to perform their roles effectively and efficiently, they must have these managerial skills. So managerial skills is very important for the manager to perform his roles in the organization, right? If we talk about managerial skills again, Robert L. Katz, he has given these 3 skills. He has given these 3 skills. One is conceptual, human skills and technical skills. If we talk about conceptual skills is what? The ability to think analytically and achieve integrated problem solving. That means conceptual skills is what? Where the person must have an ability to analyze the things, to sort out the problems, or to know that how to take decision basically, right? So conceptual skills related to the awareness. He must have a general knowledge or the knowledge related to his industry so that he can decides the thing. So he can decides the thing, right? So conceptual skills is basically, if I talk about the importance, that where this if I talk about these skills required in every levels of the management. But if I talk about the importance, so conceptual skills is very important for top level manager. Right? It is very useful for top level managers, because top level managers are the one who decides the thing, who analyze the things, who plan the policies, who decides that what kind of product we are going to launch, right? So planning and everything, top managers' duties, right? So conceptual skills is basically useful for top level managers. If I talk about this human skills, so human skills is what? It is the ability to work well in cooperation with other people, right? Human skills is kind of interpersonal skills, we can say, where manager must know that how to behave with the people which exist in the organization or even outside the organization. That's not a thing that it should that means people should be from the organization. No. If I so human skills are the abilities where a manager must know that how to deal with the people. Like if I talk about employees, manager must know how to motivate or encourage his employees or the organization's employees, how to get the work done in a better way, in a far better way from the previous one, right? So human skills is basically useful to motivate people, to encourage people, to so that they can work in a smoothened manner, right? At the same time, human skills is also useful to deal with the customers, to deal with the stakeholders, other stakeholders like suppliers or business partners. So it's basically useful to build up a good relationship so that they can work according, and so that they can have positive work which is beneficial for the organization. So if I talk about the importance, so human skills is more important, or it is more useful for the middle level managers, right? Middle level managers, why? Because middle level manager is the one who pass on the information from top level managers to the lower level manager, right? So he must have this human skills, he must have this interpersonal skills so that he can communicate in a better way. At the same time, he is going to take orders from the top level managers and giving orders to the lower level managers. Then again, his responsibility, again he must have this human skills, then only he can delegate work to the people, and at the same time he can encourage in that in such a way so that he can get the work done by the lower level people. So for that, again, human skills is very important. Last one is technical skills. Technical skills, the ability to apply expertise and perform special tasks with proficiency. Technical skills which is related to the machineries related to the operations, that means the expertise which is very important, so to get the work done, or not get the work done, to perform the work, right, to perform the work, this technical skills is very important. So technical skills, if I talk about the importance, so technical skills is very important for the lower level managers, because lower level managers is directly related to the operations. They are there for to do a work, to actuate the plan into the action, right. So they should have these skills, which is technical skills, right. So these are the managerial skills which is given by the Robert L. Katz, and he defines this conceptual skills, human skills and technical skills in this way, right. So again we can repeat these things, that yes, conceptual skills is more useful for top level managers to plan the things, to decide the policies, to make strategic decision. Second one is human skills. It is useful for middle level managers, more useful for middle level managers, and the technical skills is more useful for lower level managers. So these are the things. So if we, yes. So in this way we conclude our the whole lecture, right. So first of all, what we have read? First we have read that managers, what manager does, that means what are the functions of managers, because before knowing that roles which is given by the Mintzberg, we should know that what manager actually perform in the organization. Then we read this manager function on the basis of these 4 heads, which is also known as management process. Yes, why management process? When manager performs these function in a systematic way, so that's known as what? Management process. So then in this way we have read this manager function. After that managerial roles we have discussed. There are 3 roles which is given by the Mintzberg. After that we have read this management skills, which is given by the management skills, which is again further divided into these 3 parts, and again which is given by the Robert L. Katz. And why these skills are important for these levels of managers, right, these levels of managers. So we have also read that which skills is most important for which levels. That's why I wrote it in this way, so that we can identify the relation, right, in this way. Okay. So this is for today's lecture. I hope you have understand all the things.